Hi there, students. Rack and ruin, a noun. It means in a state of ruins, in a state of, in a destroyed state, dilapidated, decayed, particularly used about a building. Yeah, so the building was in rack and ruin, and then with the phrase to go to rack and ruin. This talks about a place that has not been looked after. Yeah, it's become steadily destroyed and decayed through lack of use and lack of maintenance. So after the old man died, the big house and the land around it went to rack and ruin. Yeah, it became, it declined and then became destroyed. Yeah, so it went to rack and ruin in his absence, to fall apart because of a lack of maintenance. I think you could also use this phrase to go to rack and ruin, talking about finances. So the bad investments, or his bad sense of business, led the company to rack and ruin, to financial disaster. The war left the country in a state of rack and ruin, and it also left the country's economy in rack and ruin as well. Okay, so completely destroyed. Let's see, you could also use it maybe more metaphorically. If alcoholism was led to his rack and ruin. His life went to rack and ruin after his wife divorced him. Okay, so yeah, to become destroyed, to become degraded, yeah, to become dilapidated, particularly from disuse or lack of upkeep. So after the fire, all the I went back to observe the rack and ruin that remained. Okay, so particularly for buildings, but for the financial state. So the whole market has been left in rack and ruin due to a massive increase in the price of oil. His life was in rack and ruin because he suffered from a very long bout of depression. The neighbours are complaining about the house at the end of the street because it's going to rack and ruin, and it makes the street look bad. Okay. Yes, I went back to where I used to live when I was a kid, and nobody had lived there for years, and it was in a state of rack and ruin. Um, a a life of drinking and partying brought nothing but rack and ruin to him. Okay, so as I said, complete destruction, particularly of a building or a piece of land. So the beautiful gardens had gone to rack and ruin because nobody looked after them. You could go to have financial rack and ruin as well, yeah, and then in several metaphorical senses as well. Today it's nearly always used for inanimate objects such as built businesses or buildings. Yeah. Okay, so question. Is it Wrack, W-R-A-C-K, or R-A-C-K? Well, I think technically correct is Wrack with a W. Yeah, which comes from the word, the Old English word "wrack," meaning vengeance or revenge. Wrack means the remains of a wreck or ruin or destruction. So But however, there are so many people nowadays that use Wrack with an R that I think it's acceptable. Although, if you want to be technically correct, I think you should use the W. Yeah, and then the ruins are something that has fallen down. The ruins of a Roman temple. Yeah, just a few stones standing and the stones all on the ground. Yeah, it's a ruin. The building was a ruin, the ruined castle. Let's see, formality. I think I'm going to give it a 5.5 in formality. It sounds a bit literary. I think it might even be termed a bit of a cliche, but certainly use it. I think you can use it anywhere in an informal conversation, semi-formal conversation, but remember, just a little bit literary in your writing. Okay. Yeah, so to go to rack and ruin, a house, a building, a piece of land, a business, a company, yeah, and then maybe somebody's life as well, but maybe that's a bit more old-fashioned. Okay, so rack and ruin, a noun, to go to rack and ruin. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Please share this link as well. Bye for now. Rack and ruin.